as you know, I love these debates, and so I thought that there were some clear winners and losers here. Let's call it what it is. Kamala Harris crushed tonight. She was spectacular, and so that's what we do here. We're honest about it, and that's what happened. I'll get to the crushing blow she put on Biden in a second. The clear loser was Biden. I mean, he got attacked on all fronts, and almost all of those landed. The only one that didn't land is Swalwell going, "Pass me the torch." Okay. Other than that, though, he got annihilated on busing. At the end, Bernie pointed out that he voted for the Iraq wars. I don't know what you're talking about, ending wars. Every one of those attacks landed. Even Michael Bennet messed them up, because Michael Bennet pointed out, no, wait a minute, the thing you're bragging about working with Mitch McConnell on actually made Bush's tax cuts permanent. That was an excellent point by Michael Bennet. Who saw that coming? No one, definitely not me. I had tweeted earlier, why is Michael Bennet in this debate? But then he proved me wrong by making that excellent point and also doing another crushing blow on Biden. So in terms of everyone else, there was a couple more winners and losers. Here, I'll get to those, and then I'll get to the non-existent folks. So the second winner was Bernie Sanders. I don't think that he started out very strong, and I agree with David. I wish he'd been more assertive, more aggressive, attacked Biden more, but he didn't. But he finished really strong. He talked about how we have to end the endless wars, and almost no one else was anywhere near as forceful on that as Bernie Sanders. He pointed out that Biden voted for those wars. He voted against. He led the opposition against. His closing statement was excellent. He said, look, we all have great plans. They're never going to get done. They never get done. We've been sitting here for 40, 50 years not getting them done. That's because we're not taking on the heart of the problem, which is the corporate control of our politicians. So that was an excellent ending, and I think that's what landed him in second place overall tonight. The second biggest loser was Buttigieg. I mean, he started his own pain by saying, oh, yeah, I messed up my own city. Well, dude, that's the only thing you had. You're the mayor of that one city, and so you just admitted it's a total mess. And then the only interesting thing Swalwell did, other than saying, I'm young, and interrupting everybody. Look, to be fair to Swalwell, he's actually great on campaign finance reform, and he's great on guns. But he was way too obnoxious tonight. I'm just keeping it real. Anyway, but he did land a blow on Buttigieg when he said, why didn't you fire the police chief? Yeah. You say that this is unacceptable, but you accepted it. And Buttigieg had this look of anger. Normally he's like happy-go-lucky. Hey guys, I love this, right? And he was like, but he had no answer. And then everyone else, oh my God, another wrong prediction by me. I thought Andrew Yang would stand out here, but they almost never went to him, and he just kind of disappeared. Hickenlooper, I forgot, was in the debate when he went to go summarize. Marianne Williams, I love her, but her message is probably going to be a little too out there for the average American about defeating Donald Trump with love. That's who she is, and you got to be who you are, but that's probably not going to win the night if we're being real. So I think other than those top four, the two biggest winners and losers, the rest of it was, unremarkable. Michael Bennett's not going to make a run for this.
That's a bold prediction. Yeah, I was going to ask you about your prediction regarding Yang. What I noticed that he has this thing where he wants to help everyone out, and I think he helped all of us out because he felt like there were too many people on the stage, so he chose not to talk. They didn't ask him a lot of questions, to be fair, but everyone else was cutting in because that is what you have to do if you want to talk, especially with 10 people on the stage. How are we going to believe that you're going to assert yourself on stage with Donald Trump if you're not willing to do it when you're surrounded by Democrats?
Yeah, I understand that, but you've got to strike a balance. So, Yang did not interrupt enough, and Swalwell interrupted way too much.
I agree.
And they've got to find that balance, but they couldn't do it. You know what? The person who I thought did a great job of balancing it was de Blasio last night. I thought that was spot on. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given him a chance. But I don't think he appeared rude at all. He was just getting his points in. But tonight, I don't think any of the guys at the edges of the debate did a good job of finding that balance. And by the way, look, let's be fair to me. I love being fair to me. So totally wrong on the Yang prediction. I don't think he stood out at all. On the other hand, I told you guys, and this morning I did an interview with The Hill saying Biden would get exposed. And Crystal Ball was nice enough to retweet that going, man, did Cenk nail that. Biden totally exposed. It's not gaffes. It's who he is. He likes to work with Republicans, and it's definitely to a fault.
Okay, so in this aspect, we like to talk a lot about, I like to talk a lot, to be fair to me. I like to talk a lot about how we sometimes have to get outside of our own thought process, our own bubble, the way things go. So yeah, we saw that Bernie did this well, and obviously Kamala did well, when many folks, I think from what we're talking about, have seen the flaws in Kamala Harris. But is there still a bounce back? We saw how badly Biden did, I agree. But what about this main swath of voters, of Democratic voters? We're in the primaries still that are like, yeah, okay, he's still the best one to beat Trump because he knows things. He threw Obama's name out 27 times. We thought it was ridiculous, I agree. But I wonder how many other Americans outside of progressives thought that was ridiculous. He said Obama 100 times, and we thought, oh my God. But you know what, that was a plan because that works.
Yeah, first of all, I agree with JR. I think that Biden said Obama as much as everyone spoke Spanish last night. So that was the main go-to thing here. And JR, you'd be right if they let Biden skate. If they had not aggressively challenged him, people would still say, well, yeah, I got good feelings about Joe Biden. And he was giving pretty strong answers until the elbows started landing right on top of his head. And I was actually surprised at how stable and in command he seemed until the elbows landed. And man, they were crushing. So let's talk about that because it's so important. When Kamala Harris challenged him on segregationist and then got to the core of the issue, said, you're still against busing to this day. And then she told that story about a second grade girl who got bused and hence had opportunity. And I saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, oh my God, it's her. Then she lands it, boom. I mean, Biden was bleeding from the ear. No wonder he was against busing. He found himself under one. So I have not seen a blow that hard in a debate in a long time. That was an uppercut that landed and might have even knocked him out.
Maybe it's my own biases of knowing about the particularities of this situation, but Bennett's was worse. Like Joe Biden was trying to take credit for extending the Bush tax cuts, and the fact that the reason Michael Bennet was well placed to call him out on that is that the entire Democratic caucus was ready to, this was right after the 2012 election. The whole caucus was ready to put Republicans in a corner. They had just lost the White House. They lost ground in the Senate. And they were gonna go off the fiscal cliff and force a better solution. And Mitch McConnell went around the back. And all of this is in Ryan Grimm's new book, TYT contributor, right? McConnell went around the back of everybody, called Biden, and said, hey, let's make a deal here. And within an hour, Biden had given away pretty much the farm to Mitch McConnell and got the White House to say, this is the deal that we're going to make. I remember staffers seething to me about that. And particularly Harry Reid staffers, because he was completely emasculated by that whole thing. And I feel like that is almost a more long-lasting passage because it shows how Biden would govern. He would govern by calling up Mitch McConnell or calling up Republicans and cutting deals, regardless of what Democrats in Congress would want to do. And that was the moment that proved it because he tried to say that he tried to take credit for that as a positive thing. So to me, that was the signature moment of this debate, even though I agree that the Kamala exchange will probably get more play.
The problem with David is he knows too much. And so that analysis is exactly right. But not a lot of people know those details.
Oh, they're gonna know.
So
they're gonna know.
And you're exactly right that is the #1 problem with Joe Biden, and that is why him being proud of working with segregationists is a bigger problem, because he didn't get them to come towards him. He went towards them, which is the constant theme of Joe Biden's career. But in terms of knowing the details of that tax plan, not very many people know it. So it's great that Michael Bennett made that point. It's great that you're backing it up with real substance and facts about what's wrong with Biden in that tax plan. But I think that Biden's base of support is African Americans. And so his support of busing, and in such a stark and obvious way, and his support of segregation is in working with them, even if he didn't agree with them, in such a stark and obvious way, will resonate more and will cost him his base more.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I think they're manifestations of the same problem, right? I mean, they basically are two different ways in which he decided to work with people to the detriment of the base of the party. So, it's similar.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.